If the climber has not, if you are a climber and coming to Nepal to climb and be in Nepal for a month or so, it is a good idea to get the rabies vaccine. Either in Kathmandu, you can get this like in different clinics, or try to get it in Taiwan. Pay the money if it is not too expensive. No, not available. Okay, then if you get bitten by a dog, then in Kathmandu you can get the whole series. It's very expensive, almost like $1,000 with the immune globulin. If you don't take the vaccine beforehand. Oh. If you take the vaccine beforehand, it's only about $300. But if you don't take the pre-exposure vaccine, then it's a lot of money. So this is the important thing about taking the pre-exposure vaccine. All right. So in some clinics in Kathmandu, you can get the full, the vaccine and the immune globulin. So after the dog bite, you need to take the immune globulin. You can get this in the dog.
这个答案是说哈，就是如果在台湾没办法打狂犬病的疫苗，那你可以到尼泊尔之后，你有2条路可以走，一个是先在加德满都自费，因为我们在那边是没有保险的，自费施打狂犬病的疫苗，这个花费大概是$300，大概是台币1万块。另外一个就是放着不管，真的有被咬到再说，而且被咬到也不一定会狂犬病。真的得到狂犬病的时候，在加德满都也可以接受到治疗。那这时候可以接受到治疗，然后可以被施打免疫球蛋白。可是这就是天价了，至少$1000。事实上是更多了，因为依照我们过去处理海外救护的经验，这个没有个200-300万应该是回不来的。
这不大 ，because the Taiwan government doesn't offer the rabies vaccine before the exposure. So usually the rabies vaccine are given after dog bite. So how the climber can get this egg when they in Nepal?
这个问题是说因为台湾已经是狂犬病的非疫区了，所以基本上我们很难取得狂犬病的疫苗。那我们要怎么样到抵达尼泊尔的时候去取得狂犬病的疫苗
So if the climber has not, if you are a climber and coming to Nepal to climb and be in Nepal for a month or so, it is a good idea to get the rabies vaccine. Either in Kathmandu, you can get this like in different clinics, or try to get it in Taiwan. Pay the money if it is not too expensive. Not available. Okay, then if you get bitten by a dog, then in Kathmandu you can get the whole series. It's very expensive, almost like $1,000 with the immune globulin. If you don't take the vaccine beforehand. Oh. If you take the vaccine beforehand, it's only about $300. But if you don't take the pre-exposure vaccine, then it's a lot of money. So this is the important thing about taking the pre-exposure vaccine. All right. So in some clinics in Kathmandu, you can get the full, the vaccine and the immune globulin. So after the dog bite, you need to take the immune globulin. You can get this in the dog.
这个答案是说就是如果在台湾没办法打狂犬病的疫苗，那你可以到尼泊尔之后，你有2条路可以走，一个是先在加德满都自费，因为我们在那边是没有保险的，自费施打狂犬病的疫苗，这个花费大概是$300，大概是台币1万块。另外一个就是放着不管，真的有被咬到再说，而且被咬到也不一定会狂犬病。真的得到狂犬病的时候，在加德满都也可以接受到治疗。那这时候可以接受到治疗，然后可以被施打免疫球蛋白。可是这就是天价了，至少$1000。 事实上是更多了，因为依照我们过去处理海外救护的经验，这个没有给200-300万应该是回不来的。
So another common problem, when people go climbing at high altitude, so this was a climber at about 6,800 meters. He took out his gloves to take pictures, and his glove became wet. So this is called frostbite. Frostbite.
那这样的话，这个图片是可以看到，就是有位山友，他到海拔6800公尺的地方，因为他就脱掉他的手套要拍照，他把手套弄湿了，结果就造成他手部冻伤，就是所谓 frostbite。
So if you go climbing in the Himalayas and get frostbite like this, please do not go to the surgeon. Surgeon will say cut. No, not good. Wait for 1 or 2 months before cutting. Important message.
这个大家都有一个观念，就是看到这样子的手就赶快去找外科医师。那可是外科医师很快就会把你的手全部都切掉。那事实上处理冻伤，应该是要先止痛、观察回温，等到1-2个月之后，他整个受伤的情况变得很明显，他可能手指头就会自己掉下来，这样子可以减少你被截肢的范围。
Okay. So that's the picture of a helicopter that makes a lot of noise and is seen quite often in the Himalayas.
Doctor?
Thank you.
Doctor, how many helicopters in your country?
How many helicopters in our country? Probably about, I put him in the front row to help me. About 10 helicopters.
10 helicopters.
大概有10架直升机，现在也有10架。
Is it belong to government or private?
Most of it is private. They are like taxi service.
很多的山客都有这个相关的，就是可能要紧急处置医学问题，所以像这些10架直升机，简直像计程车一样。
So that's a little bit about helicopters. I will come back to that, but let me talk a little bit about this altitude sickness. And altitude sickness is AMS, is acute mountain sickness. It starts at about 3,000 meters, about like here, a little higher than here. And this is like headache and nausea, like a bad hangover. If we drank too much last night, this morning, I will not feel good. So I tried not to drink too much last night. So that's AMS, drinking problem, but no drinking, that's your problem at 3,000 meters or higher.
那刚刚直升机的话，之后会再来谈。那现在想要先讲的是急性高山病。那急性高山病它缩写 AMS， 大概是在海拔3000公尺以上左右会开始出现一些症状。症状跟酒醉、宿醉这样的类似，包括头痛、晕眩等等。
So this problem, if you do not pay attention to this problem, like your body is warning you, you have these 2 problems. This problem leads to this and this. This is high altitude pulmonary edema. That means water in the lungs. Water in the lungs. And this is high altitude cerebral edema. This means water in the head. So water in the lungs and water in the head is very, very dangerous. You can die. You don't die of this. Like hangover, many people don't die. But if you keep drinking, you can die, right? It's the same thing. If you keep going higher, 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 because you want to get to the top of Mount Everest, you can get hit or haze, and those can kill you.
那所以就是如果发现有输入 AMS 就是急性高山病的症状，但是又忽视它、不去管它的时候，有可能就会导致产生高海拔肺水肿，还有高海拔脑水肿这样子的症状。那高海拔肺水肿跟脑水肿就是水分分别进入了肺或者脑的那样子的改变，是相当危险的。就好比我们在喝酒，你可能醉了没有关系，就是如果你醉了还是继续喝不管它的话，可能就会有问题。那同样的，对于山友来说，你可能一直往上爬，你稍微觉得有点不舒服，可是你不管它，一直想要登顶，那忽略了自己身体发生的警讯的时候呢，就很危险，反而更多的问题。
But we have to accept this. This is development, you know. So this is happening in Nepal, and people are learning lessons. But this is, you will hear more about this in the future, about helicopters rescuing mountain climbers at very high altitude, at 7,500 meters. You will hear about this. It will be in the news over the years. And I think we have to be ready for this, regardless of what I think or what anyone thinks. This is how it is.
那不过这也是不可避免的科学发展。未来我们如果在新闻上看到，就是直升机飞到7500公尺的海拔去救援，这是必然的。对我们来说，就是接受现在的现况。
Yes. So look, this is that Eurocopter. This is almost at 7,000 meters in the I think Annapurna region, and this is going to be, you know, seen commonly in the Himalayas.
这边图片里面就看到直升机是飞在大概海拔7000公尺左右的这样一个图片。未来这种图片呢，或者这样的情况会越来越频繁，越来越常见。
So the Swiss, you know, in Europe, in the Alps, in the Zermatt area, they have a lot of experience about helicopter rescue, but they only rescue up to 4,000 meters. Why? Because the mountain stops at 4,000 meters. Our mountains go up to 8,000 plus meters, so no one has any experience about this. No one.
Yeah.
The Swiss, the British, no one. Indians, no one has any experience. So we are learning. So as they say, this is a steep learning curve.
Right.
所以这个呢，其实要想要去看我们前驱之剑或者他山之石可以借都很难，因为譬如说欧洲阿尔卑斯山脉、瑞士这边呢，他们直升机救援经验，这个海拔高度大概就4000公尺，因为阿尔卑斯山不过就4000公尺。那么在南亚这边呢，即使是英国人、印度人，他们对于这种高海拔救援也都没有什么经验，所以对尼泊尔人来说，他们就跟山一样，这是一个很陡峭的一个学习的经验。
And then there are other problems. You know, someone yesterday asked a question: what if the climber is uninsured? Who is the helicopter going to fly? The answer is no. You know, it's a sad world. They will say, please put, if you're uninsured, they will say, okay, give us $4,000 here, and then we will fly the plane. So it's a bad idea to travel by yourself, climb by yourself, trek by yourself. Always have some friend with you. So they can call, and so this is one of the important messages we tell from the Himalayan Rescue Association, to please travel not alone, with some company. All right?
Yeah.
所以这边很重要的，其实就是在这边登山旅游的时候，最好不要一个人。为什么呢？因为如果发生什么事情，你要有人比如说帮你呼叫救援。尤其这边直升机，如果你没有事先付钱的话，直升机也不会起飞。所以如果你没有保险，那一个人去当地发生的情况，那可能直升机那边他们需要有人先付出，比如说4000块的现金，他们才会就是直升机起飞去进行救援。
So Nepal is a very rich country, you know, in many ways. We like the Taiwanese people that we have experienced here, a lot of hospitality. But you know, unlike here, we are also a very poor country. So you know, what about porters, guides? There's almost no insurance. So that's an important part. And when you bring the porter down to Kathmandu, there is no state-sponsored medical insurance. So the person is just left. You know, so there has to be a personal backup system, you know, because of lack of medical insurance.
那其实刚刚讲到那个是4000块钱，是4000块美金哦。那其实尼泊尔跟台湾一样，也许就是贫富差距是比较大，当然有一些像是山友常遇到的，像是比如说 porter， 就是比如说向导或者说是协助背夫，那他们可能是没有保险的，因为尼泊尔并没有全民保险，所以他们如果背夫或者向导发生问题，他们回到平地上，他们可能就直接换人，他们没有办法享受全民保险。
So if you go climbing or trekking in the mountains, please look after your porters. You know, the people that help you, Nepali porters, because there is really no government system set up to help them. You know, like maybe a social structure.
所以呢，就各位山友在那个喜马拉雅山上爬山的时候，也要多注意自己背负的安全，因为他们没有医疗保险，如果发生什么问题是很辛苦的。
Okay, next. So, for example, this is a poor porter who has high altitude sickness, and so it's important that the group members feel responsible and look after the porter also.
所以呢，像图片上看到就是一位背夫，那他这个是他因为有高山症的症状出现，所以很重要的其实是整团员也要照顾，就是协助大家上山的人。
Next. So, you know, what do people think about this? Going back to this rescue, you know, so people think that this helicopter rescue. What do the local people think? I wanted to give you a picture of what I think the local people think. So obviously it brings wealth to the community. You know, when trekkers and climbers come to Nepal, it brings financial support, and that's the main thing. But what do the what do the people think like about the climbers? So they think, I think that the climbers are having a big entertainment, and this is their job. You know, the local guide will say, this is our job, and it's quite an interesting, and they're happy to do this. But that is a kind of an interesting relationship. You know, the climber is basically entertainment, and for the guide, it's their livelihood.
所以其实这边布莱医师想讲讲，就是当地人对比如说直升机救援或者是登山客越来越多，当地人的想法。那首先就是旅客多了，那当然就是对当地带来财源，这是一件好事。不过其实对当地人来说，他们作为向导，作为背夫，对他们来说这是他们谋生的一种方式。那他们觉得其实山友登山客都是来这里进行休闲娱乐活动，其实这个心态是有一个差距。
And in our country, more important problems for the native people is not mountain accidents. It's the simple TB, malaria, typhoid, you know, other diseases caused by bacteria, viruses. So those are more important medical problems than having, you know, Everest problems.
然后在尼泊尔啊，事实上来这边登山旅游的游客，很多时候都并不是只有高山病而已，反而很多时候你要去考虑有没有伤寒、肺结核、疟疾，而这些疾病都可能导致死亡，而且在世界上很多高山的地区，这些疾病都还是盛行的。
So I just wanted to give you a general idea about you know, what the problems are in general. Next. Okay, so you know, many people are climbing Everest nowadays, and or also trekking, and it's become like, so because of these helicopters, it's become like Everest Disneyland, you know, because they can get the helicopter if they say, I have a little bit of diarrhea, or I am not feeling happy today, you know, so let's get the helicopter. So there is this chance of abuse of the system, you know, so I know that in Taiwan you don't have this insurance set up, but when you do, you will see that there will also be, this system will be abused. Maybe, I don't know how it is right now, but anyway.
所以其实现在呢，因为这边喜马拉雅山区圣母峰的登山客实在太多了，而且直升机救援这么发达，有时候甚至不是救援，比如说可能觉得今天心情不好，肚子有点痛，我就要叫直升机，我要下山了，所以其实就会产生一种滥用的情况。但是台湾，即便我们直升机救援保险这方面不是那么多，但是这种滥用保险的情况，其实大家都可以想象。
And remember, the rescue helicopter pilot is also putting his life in danger. So you have to be careful when asking for helicopter rescue.
而且也要注意到，其实驾驶直升机这位直升机驾驶他也是冒着生命危险，然后把直升机开到高海拔，所以在呼叫直升机的时候也是要想到这一点。
And I think that climbers need better education. And they need to know what risk they are taking. You know, because Everest now, many people are climbing, but many people do not know what risks they are taking.
那这边觉得登山客教育需要进一步改善的是，针对风险要有更深入的认识。很多人来爬圣母峰，可是他们不了解自己冒的风险为何。
According to our president, Mr. Zimba, there are many 300 unclimbed peaks. Yes? 120. So there are many unclimbed peaks, but many people do not go to climb these very interesting peaks. Everybody goes to Everest. So to take the pressure off Everest and go and climb some of these other peaks which are more interesting, because no one has climbed this. In Everest, you can be, they can help you climb Everest physically. But other peaks, you have to use your brains, you have to be strong, you don't know whether you turn left or turn right. Everest is guided. It's like going up the ski lift.
那其实就像昨天那个领导昨天提到的，在尼泊尔这边大概有120座山峰是还比较少人上去的。那各位可以想象，其实爬圣母峰的人实在太多了，简直是像是在搭那个雪车，就是你要滑雪，那你甚至你走不动的话，有人可以背着你上去。那不像说这120座没有人攀登的山峰，这些没有人去过的地方，你可能还要动脑，又有详尽的体魄，你要知道左边右边，你要对地理位置比较清楚。其实挑战性比较高的地方，反而去的人太少。
See, if you climb without oxygen, so many people like to climb without oxygen because it's a sign of a tough man. But if you climb without oxygen, you can die more often.
比如讲到风险，有的人不喜欢背氧气瓶上山，因为觉得背了觉得看着好像没有男子汉气概。可是上山的时候比较危险，其实你上山就要下山，下来也是有风险。
So, if you look at these triangles, this is the top of Mount Everest. Most of the triangles are here. So this is most of the climbers that died between, when was this? This is a big study of climbers, from about 30 years. Most of them died while coming down the mountain. So this is an important message that many people do not know, just like lack of, if you don't use oxygen, it is more dangerous. But going up the mountain is one thing, but you have to come down. And many people don't know this, and the statistics show that it's when they come down, most people die.
这个是在2008年在英国医学期刊的一个非常经典的报告哈。那个倒的三角形代表是在下山途中的死亡，那倒的三角形是下山途中死亡的攀登者。那还有就是那个圆形是雪霸。那大家可以看到很多的倒三角形，不管是在右边的从西藏的北侧路径，或是在左边的从西藏北侧路径，或是右边的从尼泊尔的南侧路径，大部分都集中在攀登之后下山的那比较短的距离。大家可能攀登的时候是非常兴奋的，那可能这时候忘了自己身体是有状况的，就在下山途中开始出现脑水肿、肺水肿，然后走路不稳， 结果这时候反而导致更多的死亡。
1% of people attempting Everest die. So this is just the statistics for you. 1% die. So
那个圣母峰整体的死亡率大概是1%。那事实上，在这篇 paper 里面，它还有研究，就是下午1点前抵达峰顶，跟1点之后抵达峰顶，它的死亡率，下午1点前抵达峰顶的死亡率是比较低的，1点之后才抵达峰顶的死亡率是比较高的。所以在圣母峰攀登过程当中，什么时候撤退是一个非常需要注意的一个点。
So this is
到尼泊尔去哦，如果你到博卡拉，你可以看到世界最大的那么山岳博物馆。那么在山岳博物馆里面，你可以看到我们台湾山岳的展示，也看到鱼尾峰的变化，非常漂亮。那么昨天我们看到天破局，哦，你到南极包山到天破局，哇，一个照片，后面背景就是阿毛大本啊，后面一看到就是最好的西班牙山，那底下一个基地哦，有红酒底下蛋饼，阿毛蛋糕呢，还可以坐下来在冰灯雪地上喝咖啡，很棒哦。来，我那边给我，不给人家吃。